Gather around. It's time for the show to begin. Ladies and gentlemen, this is...
Hey everyone, my name is Jason.
Hi friends, it's Desiree Josen.
All right, there were so many matches this year that were just too much.
So this won't be a shocker because we've had a handful of really awesome matches that we just can't stop talking about.
How many times have these guys fought? Like it's been quite a bit.
I've been saying this all year. They're just so great to watch. We saw the heel turn coming, and then when it happened, nice and bloody, both dramatic and beautiful.
You are now entering the ring with Chutes and Ladders podcast. Here are your hosts, Desiree and Jason.
Chutes and Ladders, abort mission, John Cena. What's going on, everyone? My name is Jason.
Hey friends, it's Desiree Josen.
Okay, look, we always shoot from the hip at Chutes and Ladders. That's why we started this podcast. And let's face it, John Cena's heel turn has been lackluster. We're going to run through why this hasn't lived up. And if this will get any better, what is your IT, Des?
Well, John Cena, we can't see him, and I don't want to see him right now. Yeah, this is not what I expected, and yeah, we just have a lot to say. I think we've been very patient, almost 6 months worth of this retirement tour so far, and it's not turned out how we thought it would be.
Yeah, I'm actually with you, and we're going to break this down topic by topic, and the first topic is announcement and expectation of what we thought Cena's retirement would be. So what do you have to say about this?
Well, when he made the announcement last year, I was under the impression of, cool, we get to see more of John Cena. We're going to see just really awesome matches, really great content from him. We're going to get some really good quality stuff in 2025, knowing that the contract is up December of this year. I am the first one to say it, and I will still say it. I've never been a John Cena fan. But I enjoy watching some of the stuff that he does. So nothing impacted me emotionally with his retirement, but I was like, hey, I'm going to get some really cool matches out of this. And, so far it just hasn't done anything for me where I'm like, I don't know what creative is doing, but, yeah, so it's not what I thought it would be.
Yeah, and here's what's funny. I loved John Cena when he was basically Mark Wahlberg. I thought that was one of the funniest gimmicks ever. Funny enough, back in the day, if someone were to have a gimmick like that, they would just basically be like the Brooklyn Brawler jobber. It wouldn't have gotten over. The wrestling fans have been countercultural. If you tell us that, hey, we're just supposed to run someone out of town, we're going to do the exact opposite. So the crowd is what really elevated John Cena, in my humble opinion. And I loved every time he would come out and do those raps.
Yeah. I
understand that wrestling fans love surprises, but in this particular instance, they should have just won chalk. I really do think. I'm glad that Jey Uso won the Royal Rumble. I think John Cena should have won. I think he should have just been the hero. It could have been hero versus Cody Rhodes. They would have prepped for the match a lot better, I think. He actually feeds into the energy of the crowd by him trying to get the crowd to turn on him. It just has been an absolute miss. So my expectation was for him to basically play the hero until the remainder of his run. They wanted to pull a fast one on us and pull a switch because I guess it is his last run. And it has not worked whatsoever. And I just don't think he is a good heel, to be honest with you. So that's my thought.
He's not very good at it now.
In short, he's not a good heel at all. So, and then now we'll just talk about Royal Rumble. I kind of mentioned it a second ago, but what do you have to say about this?
Yeah, and for months last year, we were all saying, you can go back to our past episodes. We're like, John Cena's going to win Royal Rumble. He is just going to be wrestling's hero, and then we're going to get somehow Cody's going to lose the title, and it's going to be Randy versus John Cena. It's just, we had this huge thing already landscaped, and it was completely destroyed. Granted, we love Jey Uso, and we already said if it wasn't John Cena, we wanted Jay to win, which I'm glad it worked out because he's doing a tremendous job. Back to Cena. It's great to see him back in the ring, but yeah, that's not exactly, and I think that was the downfall of us as fans. And I know that creative likes to pull fast ones on us and keep us on our toes. That's what's great. Because it was very predictable, but I felt like that was like in the best interest of business. And yeah, so I accepted the Rumble loss in hopes of other things down the line because I'm like, okay, I see what they're doing. They're going to build it up, but just didn't happen. So yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Funny enough, as from a performance standpoint, I think the Royal Rumble has been his best performance so far since coming back.
Since his return, 100%.
Yeah. And it's funny because now, granted, the Royal Rumble is a little bit different, and you don't have to carry the match. When he did come out, and again, yeah, exactly. And I will say, I mean, from a surprise element, pretty cool. You had Jey Uso because a lot of people didn't expect that, especially since they're the last two. I think most people thought John Cena was going to win. Pretty cool. But I really do think they kind of messed up, to be honest with you. I really do think he should have won. Had he won, I don't think he would have had to turn heel, to be honest with you. So I think he could have immediately just set up and asked for Cody, and they could have had like an actual real match. So, yeah. So overall, yeah, I think they missed the mark a little bit in that aspect.
Yep.
All right. Heel turn at EC. I'd love to hear your thoughts because you were physically there.
Yeah, it was fantastic. This was really exciting because everyone's money was on John Cena winning, which he did, but we didn't see that heel turn coming. It was really cool to see The Rock, not so much Travis Scott, but The Rock come out and do that. So that by far was a really fantastic heel turn. We did not see that coming. That's exactly what I like of a heel turn. I love heels. I am for anyone wanting to be bad. The issue is there's not enough time in his story right now for this to evolve and to play out. And I think that's what's going on is, what was that? Back at the very beginning of March of his heel turn, he's going to be done in December. How are we going to rush all of these? It doesn't make sense because we have to have a build up, or it's going to have to extend way longer. And yeah, I mean, they pulled off the initial turn. Great. It was such a shock. It's going to be one of the biggest heel turns in history for wrestling. I just feel like it wasn't thought out long term, or really in this case, short term, because we didn't have enough time to build on it.
I'm going to echo everything you just said. I'm not going to add or subtract anything, and we're just going to go to the next topic because everything you just said, I'm 100% on board with. All right, so next topic is going to be his Mania match versus Cody. Yikes. That was sloppy. It was disappointing as a main event for any match, for any PLE, let alone WrestleMania. It was absolutely slow. His walking, his entrance of just walking that slowly didn't capture anything. The whole time I was like, just get to the ring by now. Like, honestly, none of that match honestly made sense. So, what do you have to say?
It was embarrassing. And it sucks because they had such a build up to, this is John Cena's final Mania match, which should have been explosive. And granted, when you think of a main event Mania match, you're expecting to see people from the past, and I didn't even necessarily need that. I just needed to see an awesome performance, very nostalgic, a lot of power. Like, let's end with a bang because this is the big PLE of the year, and we didn't get it. And it just showed, I guess, he's not active in the ring, and I'm not expecting him to move like he did 20 years ago, but I need to see some kind of movement where it keeps up with Cody. So if you're going to be competing for a title, I don't care if you're going to drop it in 6 months, you better be able to get it without it looking sloppy. And that's the first thing I said to myself out loud. I was like, oh, this is not looking good. It's not fluid. And I would have been really mad if I paid that amount of money to see that match. And yeah, it just wasn't it wasn't good.
Yeah, it wasn't, and it sucks. Now, one thing I will say, from a legacy point of view, you can obviously make the argument of, hey, look, you know what? His final Mania match was against a Hall of Famer as well.
Yeah.
With Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes is going to eventually he's going to get the title back sooner rather
100%.
than later. Like it's
Yeah.
going to be. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they pulled a pivot and said, you know what, let's just get this back to Cody now because this experiment has not worked. That's what we're calling this episode abort mission. So I'm kind of with you on that. It just was not good, and I think they're going to have to pivot from a storyline point of view. So that's my take.
Mm-hmm.
All right, now confusing storyline with The Rock and Travis Scott. Yeah. Ugh. I mean, look, here's the thing, and this is just my quick take on this. WWE is going to do the best, to the best of their ability. They're going to bring in as many celebrities, artists, the whole nine, especially for Manias, and I totally get it. Obviously, Travis Scott's a big deal. But this just didn't, nothing, like, none of this actually just was entertaining at all.
No. No. You don't have to bring a celebrity in during every major pay-per-view. Please stop doing that. Just because they have the song for the weekend does not mean you have to bring them on. I think that please stop doing that. It doesn't make sense. Like when he came out in Elimination Chamber, it really irritated me. I was like, what are you doing in the ring? The Rock was enough, and he was more than enough. And then he comes, and he's the one that comes out during Mania, is Travis Scott. Get out of here. And I'm glad, like, immediately he got in, and then he got out. I'm like, go away, don't come back. And with The Rock, you know what's crazy is I was watching vlogs of people that were there, and they were selling shirts that The Rock was in Vegas. And I'm like, no, he wasn't. I want my money back. And yeah. And the fact that afterwards, The Rock said he didn't feel like it was necessary for him to show up at Mania. A lot of it was because he was making a movie and it would cost him a lot of money to get out of it. I'm like, well, that's just poor planning on everybody, because you could not turn heel at Chamber and then not show up at Mania for it to make sense for Cena to win.
Exactly.
Makes no sense. And then we still haven't seen him. I know everyone is doing all of this on purpose. A lot of the time, this is a work. Like, it doesn't make sense. He is a part of that storyline. Like, there's no cohesiveness. I just feel like it's like a joke at this point.
So, and let's pretend that we can wave the magic wand and kind of rewrite history. If John Cena is a face, okay, if he stays face, hero versus hero, like we talked about earlier, okay, you don't need The Rock for that heel turn. Like that storyline just goes away, right? Travis Scott could just basically pull off what Lil Wayne did a couple years ago by just doing a rap song and then John Cena's music kind of hit. He walks to the ring. From there, it's just John Cena and Cody, right?
Yeah.
I mean, this is like because when Lil Wayne did that for Jey Uso, it worked like a charm.
Because he's an artist.
Yeah, exactly.
He's here to play music, not wrestle.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Lil Wayne didn't get in the ring. But the crowd went nuts because everyone loves Lil Wayne, and obviously,
and it was awesome.
He performed amazing. Jey Uso's huge into hip hop, so it worked. The whole thing worked. They could have done that times two, and they didn't. So yeah, I'm actually with you. It was confusing, but most importantly, it was just a mess. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Next topic is John Cena's interview content. I'm glad we're going to hit on this because, yeah, it's just super stagnant, at least to me.
Yeah, like the first go around, he can play the whole silent, I'm not talking to anybody, I have no explanation, just watch Raw. Cool. Don't do it after every media. Like, no, stop it. And it was to a point where he wouldn't speak at any of the post shows, after shows. Every question and every answer to that was, this is clickbait. And then the only one that actually got content or an answer out of him was Pat McAfee, and he was just pulling teeth with that one. And he was giving a little bit, but it was just mostly like, let's, why don't you watch Raw? Watch the next episode and see what happens. It's just that kind of thing. And then now with Backlash, where he is like, I'm going to cooperate and answer questions, and then he gets interrupted and kind of thing. So it's just, if he's going to be a heel, I want him to be a heel on the mic and back up what he can do instead of just sitting there having tantrums and leaving in silence.
Yeah, and it's just not working. I'm with you. A lot of his, and he's doing purposeful delays in between segments of his own promos, and it's supposed to tick people off, but in a different way. It's not taking us off because we're buying into it. It's just taking us off because we're like, yo, just get this moving, get this moving. Like, we need something else.
And that's the thing I want people to understand is we understand wrestling, we understand kayfabe, and we know what's going on, and we know what the underlying of everything is, but it's aggravating to watch, and it's not fun.
Yes, you said it correctly. Yeah, trust me, there's a difference between heat and there's a difference between being bored. And
Yes.
Guess what we are?
I'm tired of this merry-go-round. I want to go home, Grandpa.
All right, and obviously we're going to touch up on his Backlash match versus Orton. We actually did the recap of that, but yeah, what do you have to say?
There was really no build-up. Like, granted, you don't need a build-up because this is a 25-year feud and we don't need it, but I feel like that deserves a little bit more respect between both of them, because what's crazy is, they are the top heel and top face of wrestling for the past 20 years. And now they've switched places, which is really odd for us as fans to see, but it's really cool, but it's just not working. But I wish they got a little bit more of a build-up than Randy coming in and RKOing, which I love. I adore that. But I wanted a little bit more. And then I feel like it was in St. Louis, so this is going to be this is going to be a stellar match. And it was better than Mania, but it just falls flat, and it's not what they deserve. And I know they both deserve better.
Yeah, I'm kind of with that. They definitely deserve better.
And it gets bad where I'm not one to really agree with Vince Russo, because he is very opinionated and he says a lot of things that are like off the wall. And he was talking exactly the same thing about Randy and Cena, how this just is not, it's just going to fall flat. And I'm like, I actually agree with him. It gets pretty bad.
Absolutely. And final topic is 6 more months of this? What do you have to say? Because I definitely have my thoughts.
He better turn face very soon. I think everyone is on this same page. There's no doubt that he's going to eventually turn face before December. I hope it's sooner rather than later. Everyone is projecting it for SummerSlam. Oh, let's bring it a lot quicker to Money in the Bank. Something. I hate to see John Cena's legacy, his final year, go down like this, because it's, like I said, there's not enough time for us to go with this heel turn. It's just, it's not working at this point. I appreciate it, but he's always been the good guy and he wants to do something different. I get it, but I don't think the timing of it worked, or at least how they made this heel turn. It just doesn't work. I think he needs to work a little bit more on his endurance and his in-ring ability a little bit. And I hate saying that because he's earned this and we know what he does, but I just feel like he can do so much better. I don't know. And I'm not even a fan, a big fan of his. So I want more for him. And I really hope a lot of things change very quickly over the summer. So his last few months really go out with a bang.
Sure. Yeah, I'm actually with you on that. And look, WWE has pivoted in the past. I hope they're going to pivot now. They'll find a way to basically pivot from this, maybe get the title off him, maybe have him as bring him back as a face and kind of do things right. So I'm with you. Obviously, yeah, let's speed things up. And I don't think it's going to be 6 months anymore. I think that was the initial plan, but it's just not working. So,
Yeah.
all right. And what are your final thoughts?
I am very hopeful because, like you said, they do listen to a lot of fans. They see how things are going and they pivot very quickly. So I'm hoping they take that in consideration and kind of see. But what worries me is some fans are really liking this, and I'm like, I don't know about that. So fingers crossed, John Cena ends the way he's supposed to.
All right, that actually wraps up this episode. What are your thoughts on John Cena's heel turn and for the remainder of his career? Please DM us at the Shoots and Ladders. Like always, please like, share, and subscribe both on YouTube and Spotify. Once again, my name is Jason.
I'm Desiree Josen.
All right, until next time, have a blessed day and a blessed week.
Bye, friends.
This has been Shoots and Ladders. Follow us for more content.